Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Please ensure to like, share, and subscribe. And also click the bell notification in the top right-hand corner to be made aware anytime I upload tutorials or videos to YouTube. All right, let's craft together. Hey guys, so today I am going to be sublimating this image onto this 20-ounce skinny tumbler. This tumbler I got from Bulk BULK tumblers. I love their tumblers. They always sublimate perfectly. Never have any issues with them. So when you find a vendor or supplier that has great quality, stick with it. And great prices, then stick with it. And Bulk tumblers, BULK, they have great prices and great quality and quick with the shipping. All right. So what I have here, I designed this image in Microsoft PowerPoint. I did use a website that will give you free Easter background images, and then I just added my photo to it. But the Happy Easter was already there along with this design, and I just added some additional little lines to blend it in with the actual image. And I will link below in the description where I got this Easter background from. So I'll put the link there if you would like to check them out, but it will be in the description. So what I'm going to do, this is a 20-ounce Sublimation skinny tumbler. This is not a tumbler that I can just walk in any store and purchase unless you live somewhere close to where you can purchase sublimation products. But this tumbler has been coated to allow me to sublimate on top of it. Sublimation is just basically transferring the ink from this paper onto the tumbler by wrapping it around and then applying heat to it, a certain temperature for a certain amount of time. But I will talk you through that. And if you've seen some of my other tutorials, then you're probably already familiar. But what I wanted to do is to design an Easter tumbler, and I wanted to keep it with the Easter egg theme, and I wanted to personalize it with an image. So I'm just using my image because it's going to be my tumbler. But you could put your kids' image there. You could put multiple kids' faces, on there to replace the egg, if you like. Or just use one picture like I did if you're going to give it to, one person. People love personalized gifts. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually trim off a bit of the white space here on the edge, because when I wrap my tumblers, I like to have a little bit of overlay, and I don't really worry about the line when I'm doing an all white background. So since my background is white, it's not that big of a deal, because you won't see a true seam like you would if I was using like a blue background. You might have this part to be blue, and then you have like a little streak of white to indicate where that line was. So I'm just going to kind of trim this to get it down to size here for me. And I do make mine overlap so that it's not just like a clean break. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off a little space right before this E, just a little space right before the E, so that I can kind of overlap it. I don't trim anything from the top, and because I don't have anything that I want on the bottom. Now, when I initially did this design, I had the 20/20 down a little bit too far, and the eggs were down a little bit too far. So since I want a clean bottom, I'm going to be trimming this so that I don't have anything going over to the bottom part of the tumbler. But normally, I let mine bleed over to the bottom because I like to have that design to show up on the bottom of the tumbler. So I have now trimmed everything to where it's nice and neat. I might have to make one more little cut here, but the top is good. The bottom is perfect because there's not going to be anything bleeding over to the bottom. And I just want to kind of see where I'm at here. So I'm going to go one more cut. And like I said, because I'm using a white background, I don't have to worry about that line that you normally would be concerned with because my tumbler is white and I'm using a white background. All right. So I'm just getting my sizing all down first. And now I think I have it perfectly. All right, one more slight little cut here. Now what I'm going to do, I actually saw another lady do this on her tutorials. I don't know why I never thought of this. Always make sure you take your tops off, but you don't want to put that into your convection oven. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tape down because this is going to be going face down onto the tumbler. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and place my heat tape. I got this heat tape from Amazon. And the ink that I'm using is called Hippo. And I have fallen in love with this ink. I never find any images, any issues. It always prints out really, really nice. And they're very cost efficient. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this started by turning my image around and placing my heat tape down onto one side. And that way, when I start wrapping it, it gives me better grip to get it lined up properly. Since I've already did my cuts, so I'm just going down the side here of the paper. All right. And now I'm just going to cut my heat tape and just make sure it's nice and flat. You don't want any bubbles because bubbles mean you could get what we call ghosting, which are white patches on your tumbler, and you don't want that. So you want to make sure that that tape is laying nice and flat against the edge of your image and nothing is bubbled over. So I'm just straightening out my heat tape, and I'm going to go ahead and lay this down. And I do not put anything on the top. So you can see that from the top, it's nice and clearly lined up with the top of my tumbler. And I'm just going to get this going, laying it down. Just like that. Okay. You want to go ahead and get it laid down nice and firmly on there on one side, and then you can begin to pull the additional now let's make sure. Hold on 1 second. I got it perfectly and then realized I wrapped it from the wrong end. I want my happy Easter part laying down first. Oops. All right, let me try this one more time. I want to do it from the side where I have my Happy Easter so that I don't compromise this side. So I'm going to lay that first. So let me get my tape going without destroying it. Again, when you put your tape on, you want to make sure that that tape is laying flat and that there are no air pockets or bubbles where the heat can get under or the air can get underneath it. All right, there we go. That's better. So I'm going to go ahead and lay this on because I want to make sure that my wording is on. So now you can see how I have started with the Happy Easter. So any overage won't compromise my wording there. I'm just going to put this down and pull tightly. You don't want any air to get underneath. I am pulling it tightly, pulling my paper tightly around. Like a little bit of air in there. And you can feel it, guys. When you put these things on, if there's air in there, trust me, it's going to feel like a little pocket. And you can kind of see it. And you don't want that. So you want to get that paper around that tumbler as nice as possible. And sometimes it may take a little bit of time for you to get it right, especially when you're new to this. But it's better to be safe with getting it on right than not getting it on right and messing up your tumbler. So I'm just making sure I got it perfectly. There we go. All right, so again, you want it to fit tight, and that's perfect. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make sure that when I don't feel any bubbles or where air can seep through. And this is actually perfect. This is absolutely perfect. I have a little bit of overlap, but I don't have to worry about it with it having a line because my background on my image is white. Okay, background on the image is white, so you're not going to have to worry about compromising with the line. All right, perfect. So if I can hold that right there while I get me a piece of tape going. And I'm just going to go with one long side going down. I am dropping everything today. All right. So you can do small pieces of tape, guys, or you can do what I'm doing, which is just doing one long strip. But again, you want to make sure that it is laying flat. Okay. You want to make sure it's laying flat. You're not compromising with any air pockets by doing it this way. And then I'm just going to pull that tape over. All right. So now that I have that done, I have a little bit of excess down here at the bottom. So I'm just going to fold it under. It's not going to make a difference anyway because I don't have anything on the bottom. And then I'm going to put some tape around the bottom here. And then I'll put a piece of tape around that top. Okay. But you want to make sure you got it on there nice and flat. Okay, perfect. Now I am going to be using shrink wrap on my tumbler here. And I'll show you how I apply it. Now I am not the best at applying the shrink wrap because it'll only be my second time using it. The first time I almost burnt up the shrink wrap. Let me pull that up so you're not just talking to my neck. So yeah, I almost burnt it up first time, but it turned out perfectly. And I actually gave that tumbler that I did. It was a love story tumbler for Valentine's. I actually gave it to someone special. So I am now just going to be taping the bottom, excuse me, of the tumbler down. So just going to get a couple of little strips going around here. And like I said, you don't have to worry about this part too much if you don't have anything on the bottom of your tumbler. It's only when you have something on the bottom and how you want this to look. I could have done a better job with trimming it, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to worry about it because this is my tumbler. And all I'm doing is just going around the bottom of the tumbler and taping that down. And again, you want to make sure there's nothing sticking up that could compromise your tumbler with air pockets or air bubbles. So just take your time, guys, when you do this, especially if you're new, just take your time. Trust me, taking your time with this process will bring rewards. And what I mean by rewards is tumblers that are where it turns out perfectly. All right, so we're going to go down the bottom here. Last piece of tape. Just in case I didn't say it, I got my heat tape off of Amazon. It actually came in a little bundle. I will link that vendor as well as to where I got my heat tape from. It came with Teflon sheets that you can use for your heat press. I think it came with like 3 or 4 packs of heat tape and like 3 or 4 Teflon sheets. Now, I don't use the Teflon sheets with this product or project, but I do use the Teflon sheets when I do my t-shirts and stuff like that. All right, so now I'm going to go around the top. Again, you want to make sure that you are securing everything on this tumbler. One day I'm going to be a good taper, but today not so much. And I'm pulling the tape tightly around that top, again, to help prevent any air from being able to get underneath. Okay. Cut that, and then I'm going to go and put my tape folded down underneath here. Now, some people ask when you put your tumblers in your convection oven, do you lay it face, do you put it down like this, or do you leave it standing upward, or do you lay it on the side? I've done it all different ways. I haven't found one that's better than the other, to be honest with you. Um, so since my tumbler, I mean, not my tumbler, but my convection oven is an extra large, I can stand it up like this inside the convection oven. And I've done that. And I've, like I said, also laid it down. What I'm looking for is to make sure that when I take this out of the convection oven, that I can see the image coming through on the back side of the paper. So like right now, you can only see the logo from A-Sub. You can see a little bit of the image, but not very much. But once it sublimates and it sublimates properly, the ink will bleed through to the back side of the paper. That's a clear indication that your sublimation took, took really, really good. So now that I have this all nice and taped up, I don't have any air pockets in here anywhere. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my heat gun with some shrink wrap. So 1 second here. So I'm going to take the shrink wrap, and I like to have the shrink wrap has an opening on both ends. You just slide your tumbler inside. And then I like to leave a little bit of space on both ends so that when I hit it with the heat gun will close this under like that, and it'll close that, on the top as well, so that you'll have a very nice vacuum seal, because that's what you're trying for, okay? So I'm going to get my heat gun here. Oh, it's right there. I don't even have to get up. All right, so I'm going to use my heat gun. I've seen some people use blow dryers, hair dryers, to do this. I just say make sure you don't get super close, especially with the heat gun, because the last time I did it, I was kind of close. I might get my gloves here. But give me 1 second. I'm going to pause this so that I can get everything set up. I'll be right back. All right, so I have my heat gloves on just to protect myself. I have my convection oven warming up. I do use the oven thermometer inside of my convection oven to make sure that I have the temperature at 400. So I have my convection oven at 400, and I do it for 6 minutes. At the 3-minute interval, I'm going to rotate my tumbler around one time, and that way I try to get even heating, because inside your convection oven, the heat source is coming from the right side of my convection oven. So I like to put that direct heat from the right. 3 minutes, I rotate it, and then 3 minutes. Now, some people do 2, 4, 6. Find what works best for you. I'm not going to say one is better than the other, but find what works best for you. And I'm going to pull this down a little bit. Got my heat gun. And again, you don't want to be too close with this. All right, so now I have the heat tape, not heat tape, shrink wrap on there. And you guys saw I'm still not great at this, but I think I get better each time that I actually do it. But you just want to make sure that you leave enough tape so that it'll cover the top and the bottom. of your tumbler. So I'm going to go ahead, and again, I'm going to be putting this in my convection oven. I have the Hamilton Beach extra large convection oven. I'm going to place this in the convection oven for 6 minutes and at 400 degrees. I'm going to shift it midway. Now, midway is at the 3-minute mark. I do use my cell phone for the timer instead of the timer on the convection oven to ensure that I only leave it in for 6 minutes. And I am using a heat thermometer so that I can ensure when I place this in, here sticking out all kinds of ways, that when I place this thing in, that it really is at 400 degrees, because you want to make sure that you're not under or over the temperature degree that you need it at. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this in, and then I'll come back and do the reveal with you guys, and we'll see what we get. So hold on, stay tuned, we'll be back. All right guys, so I just completed the sublimation process in the convection oven. And remember, I said that you should be able to see your image start to bleed through the paper. So you can see that it was bleeding through here. That's an indication that your sub, should have taken really, really well. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and remove the shrink wrap. And you want to be careful when you're using the metal. You also want to be careful when you're handling this hot tumbler. So that's why I have my gloves on to protect myself. And we're going to go ahead and get this off of here. So we can see what our finished product will look like. So again, this can be something that you do for the kiddies. This can be an image that you use of yourself. Just whatever works for you, but I thought that it would be good to do a Easter tumbler since we're getting ready to hit Easter in a few months here. Better start it early than late. And it turned out absolutely gorgeous. Get all this stuff off of here. Perfect. So hopefully you guys can see that really good. We have our Happy Easter. We got our 2021 in there. And this is where I had it to kind of bleed over. So it looks nice and perfect. So no issues whatsoever. And then your bottom is clean. Okay. So if you are designing these and you want to have something to bleed over, you just want to make sure, and let me see here, I might have a tumbler that I can show you. You may have, give me 1 second. Let me see if I had this one to bleed over. No, I don't have that one to bleed over. Let me. Oh. So here's one that I had to bleed over so that you guys can see the difference. So if you have your paper to fold underneath and you have part of the image on there, then you can have it to bleed over to look like it's intentional. Okay. And then if you want to have a clean break, you could actually leave this open to put like your logo or something on the bottom. Okay, but it turned out absolutely gorgeous. No issues whatsoever. So hopefully you guys can see that really, really well. Everything subbed perfectly. I like how the lines start up here and come down, but absolutely happy with how it turned out. And I like how that edge kind of broke here, broke there and went all the way up, but it kind of blends in with the other lines. Okay. All right. And then just make sure that wherever you stuck that top, that you just place your top back on there. Now, the good thing about bulk tumblers also is that it's going to come with the plastic wrap. Um, it's going to come with the plastic wrap. I set the box down somewhere. It's going to come with the plastic wrap so that if you're gifting these, all you have to do is just place it back into the plastic wrap and you're done. It'll cool off really fast. So now I can handle this without my gloves, but it's perfect for you guys to see it that way. And I think where this comes into place was perfect. Okay. All right. So I will link everything that I used in the description and where I got them from. I did my design in Microsoft PowerPoint. Let me get the name here so I can tell you that I got this image off of freepik.com, and I will be placing the link in the tutorial in the description. So if you would like to use this image, how you can get your free Easter image background and then, add your picture in an oval shape so that it blends in with the oval of the eggs. And then I added a little bit of lime around my image so you guys can kind of see the lime to blend it in with the rest of the tumbler. And then I added a line here to make it look like there was a line coming down for my picture, like the eggs are coming down like that. All right, so you can make your picture smaller. You can add multiple pictures in there, your kids, however you choose to do it. But I thought that this was a nice way to start off early for Easter. So when people say, well, what do you have for Easter? You can start thinking about some designs that you can create and personalize for people, and also put that 2021 so they can remember this crazy year that we've had already. But yeah, that's it. So again, I'll link everything in the description. I did my design in Microsoft PowerPoint. Like I said, I'll link the image from freepik.com that I used, and along with all the supplies that I use as well. Again, I use ASUP paper. So your ASUP paper is going to have the logo on the back. ASUP that I got off Amazon, and I use the sublimation ink I use is Hippo or Hippo. I don't know how you pronounce it. But yeah, so turned out perfectly, guys. 100% happy with how it turned out. And I do want to tell you guys that I don't do sublimation every day. I thought before I started doing sublimation that I had to sub something every day so the ink wouldn't dry up or present issues. But I have the Epson Workforce 7720, which you see here, that I changed from an inkjet printer to a sublimation printer. Very easy. I have a tutorial on my playlist to show you how to do it. At the time, I was using Ink X Pro, which I love, and I will still continue to use Ink X Pro because I'm not out of their ink. So when I run out of the Hippo ink, I will go back to my Ink X Pro because I love it as well. But you guys can see there's no lines or anything in the image, like no lines or anything. It's actually perfect. So when you get lines in your image, I don't have any to show you, but if you get lines in the image before you sublimate it, change the paper type settings change the paper type settings, and that may help you out if it's not just the way your ink or your printer is set up, but change the paper type, okay? And that may do the trick for you. So there's my happy Easter tumbler, guys. But like I said, I don't sub every day. Um, and I've not had any issues with anything drying up or clogging up or whatever. And every time I start up, it's perfect. Okay, so it could be the ink. Ink X Pro and Hippo, they're both great sublimation inks. Ink X Pro is a little bit more expensive, but it's worth it. But so far, I've not had any complaints out of either one of those ink products. And I can say them both together because I'm not being paid to, endorse one over the other. Okay. I was asked to test out the Hippo, and I've done it, and it works perfectly. So for those of you that are on a budget, sorry about that loud noise, that are on a budget, want to be cost efficient in purchasing your sublimation ink, then give them a try. I probably would use them again, I probably would use them again as well because, like I said, I've not had any issues, and the colors are true to form. Whatever I see on that piece of paper, that's what comes through on my tumblers. And again, bulk tumblers is who I use. You can order individual tumblers, just to test it and see if you like their product, or you can do large orders as well. So, and they are quick with getting your merchandise to you, which is what I really love. Okay. I order it this week. I normally get it the same week. Now, I don't know if that's a fluke. If it is a fluke, continue to fluke, bulk tumblers. But yeah, they are good with getting the product to you. All right. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it, guys. If you're currently in my Facebook group, Ken Dorsey's Cricut and Creative Crafters, thank you guys so much for being a part of my group. My group members know that when I post photos in the group, a tutorial is coming along with it to tell you how I did it. So you don't have to ask those questions. How did you do this? Where did you get your supplies? Like all of that information I give to my group all the time. So there's never a question. And if you're curious as to how to design this in Microsoft PowerPoint, guys, and you have Microsoft PowerPoint, I will show you. Just put in the comments that you want a tutorial on how to do this design in Microsoft PowerPoint, then I will create a tutorial on that for you. But I didn't want to make this video extra long with that. But if you would like a tutorial on that process, then I'll show you. Also, I put my image, let me give you the size here for this tumbler. I have this, the sizing here set at, let me get the sizing for you. I have the sizing at 9.899 in width and 9.08 in height. And then I kind of play around with the bottom so that I don't bleed over to the bottom. Now, there are times, like I just showed you, when I do want it to bleed over to the bottom, but when I want a nice, clean, white back bottom, then I make sure that my image stops. So you can see that was perfect where I had the image to stop because otherwise it would have bled over to the bottom. But if you want to know how to design in Microsoft PowerPoint, because we know Cricut Design Space is down a lot. And so if you want an alternative to using Cricut Design Space and you have Microsoft PowerPoint and you want to know how to do this in Microsoft PowerPoint, then just put it in the comments and I will create a tutorial on how I created this design in Microsoft PowerPoint for you. Okay. All right, guys, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Again, like I said, if you're currently in my Facebook group, Ken Dorsey's Cricut and Creative Crafters, that's a mouthful, I know. But thank you guys so much for being members of my group. And if you're currently subscribed to my YouTube channel, thank you so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel. And if this is the first time you've seen a tutorial that I've done and you like my method of teaching, then please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. And I currently have a gift giveaway going on my YouTube channel for a $25 Amazon gift card. Could be yours, and you still have time to enter that. All you have to do is make sure you like one of my tutorials and comment on one of the tutorials, And then you'll click the link in the description that tells you about the giveaway. Click the link in the description and it'll take you to a site where you can enter your name and your email address, because I do have to have that information in order to select a winner and then notify you if you won the Amazon $25 Amazon gift card. So that's that tutorial. There is I'm not going to say tutorial because I'm not teaching you anything, but there is a video on my channel that has a $25 Amazon gift card image on it. Just look at that tutorial and it'll give you all the details for the giveaway. And the giveaway is not sponsored by any third party. It's not sponsored by YouTube or Amazon. It is all on me. Okay. All right, guys, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Again, I always end with each one reach one so that each one can teach one. And you guys have a great day. Bye.